What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for another episode of the Legion of Raw with the man. He is the man. He is the one. I said it before. I say it again. He is the one who made Bill Goldberg. If it wasn't for the Attitude Era, the emphasis of Bill Goldberg would not be as heavy on WCW. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to mean it, and that's what I'm going to stick. That's what I'm going to stick with. He is Vince Russo. How are you tonight, man?
Bro, I'm past Goldberg. I'm on to Come On, Baby, Light My Fire, baby. Come on. Everybody was singing it around the world, bro, at the end of Raw. And I know you were singing it, Chris.
Got the blinders on, and yeah, we've got some old school chic going on.
Hey, you know, I am actually going to give the WWE credit tonight because, you know, this afternoon, when we heard a word of the COVID with Drew, we knew what the main event was supposed to be, Drew and Orton. I give them credit for putting Triple H in that spot. I guarantee you the finish was the exact same thing. I guarantee they could do the exact same thing. But I do give them credit, bro, because there's nobody else they could have put in that spot that would have meant anything. I know Triple H came out of left field. I understand that. But, bro, at least I give them credit for thinking along those terms.
I agree. I think that as far as star power is concerned, you know, to me, it's like, sadly, you know, they don't have anybody else on the whole roster to, you know, to match that type of star power as Drew McIntyre, and they brought in Triple H. But I mean, you know, at least they did bring in Triple H, and at least it did have a big fight feel to it. So, you know, and, you know, they booked it as a fight, so it wasn't necessarily a match. So, you know, it was cool. It was, you know, kudos to Triple H for stepping up and being a company guy.
Definitely, bro. I mean, I give them credit for that. They were dealt a bad hand today. I give them credit for, I can't believe they had Drew acknowledge that he tested positive.
Yeah, I don't think they had any other choice to do that because there was other people who's, you know, been positive for COVID throughout the whole time. Like Apollo Crews and other people who they just pretend that they just, you know, they were out because they got written off, and, you know, just all types of stuff. And so I think with him being your champion, I mean, you really didn't have much of a choice. And I think that, you know, if you
But Chris, where I was surprised, bro, is listen, when you know Vince, like I know Vince, bro, there is no sick. Sick like is not an option. Vince is immortal. And, you know, for Drew to say, wear your mask and social distance on a Vince McMahon show,
yeah,
I was like, holy crap, I cannot believe Vince is tapping out to COVID.
yeah.
It took a year.
Yeah.
It took a year, bro, but he's still tapping out to it.
Yeah, and another tap out is that you know, despite interest, there's going to be no fans at the Royal Rumble, according to right now. And you know, he got the Tropicana field. The hope was to have the field in order to, you know, promote social distancing, but at the same time, you know, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So it looks like Vince McMahon has tapped out the COVID, man. How about that?
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's a big moment when his champion is basically, you know, putting COVID over. That is so, unless today was the end of the line, because bro, I'm looking at some of this show and either this was really shoddy booking or a lot of people had COVID, because when you look at the match with what's the guy's name? Hacksaw, Jawbone. What's his name? Your buddy over there, T-Bar. When you look at the T-Bar match against the
Xavier Woods.
Okay, where's Kofi for the save? Where's Ricochet, who's been getting his butt kicked? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, bro, do those guys have COVID? Is that why Xavier had a singles match? Is that why there was no save? Is that why there was no Ricochet? So
I think they phoned it in, man. I think they phoned it in because it was a national championship game, you know, Ohio State versus Alabama. And I was listening to most of the game, you know, because I'm a Ohio State fan. I got my Ohio State. I mean, I'm born and raised in Ohio, still live here, Columbus, Ohio. And so I was listening. I had both screens up, looking at both, and had a lot of Raw on mute during the matches while I was listening to looking at the game. And so I think it seemed like they might have had in mind that they were going to phone it in. Now I think you do bring a good point that, you know, some people may have had COVID, but you know, Drew was the only person that acknowledged. You know, I think they should acknowledge everyone who has it. You know,
I agree with that too, and I don't understand why they do, but I don't know, bro. Just really weird that people that should have been on the show weren't on the show.
True. Yeah. Speaking of the show, we have Triple H starting off with the in-ring promo interrupted by Randy Orton, and they cut a promo. I mean, they kind of set this tone for the evening. You know, somehow, this is kind of predictable that he was going to say no, and then it led to eventually him saying yes. So I think that was pretty predictable. But at the same time, it did cause some intrigue because, you know, we haven't seen Triple H legit in the ring, you know, in any type of capacity competitively for a while. So it does bring that type of mystique of someone someone with the legendary status to him not being in the ring and not being one of those like legends who comes back every now and then and sometimes step in the ring, sometimes away. Triple H has a presence in the WWE, and him being in the ring actually means something. So that caused some intrigue throughout the
It did cause intrigue, but listen, let me ask you this, Chris. How far in advance you think they've known for a couple of days about Drew, or you think he tested positive today?
I would imagine that he probably tested positive a few days ago. And they are just, you know, making it a thing, you know, today. So that would be my guess.
And not knowing the timing of that, you know, I mean, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They found out at, you know, 10 o'clock this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I just would have liked to see the drama of Stephanie not wanting them to fight, and then Vince calling Orton out. And I would have loved to see that whole drama. But again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, bro. Who knows when they got the news? Maybe they didn't have time to set that up. I mean, I don't know. But if you're going to use Triple H, you got to give me a little bit more than that.
Yeah. And I'd imagine it was probably at the very least this morning, because they announced in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And so it may have even been before that, because you have to factor in that Triple H, had to get a flight from, I think he still lives in Connecticut, all the way to Florida. So I mean, he has that, big private jet, and he's the man and everything. But regardless of even if it was today, I think they could have made some adjustments to kind of build that hype a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely they could have. But I'm going to give him credit for just putting the guy in that spot.
Yeah, I agree. Lacey, speaking of putting a guy in a spot, oh, Nature Boy, he's
before we get to that, though, can I tell you what's going on here with Lacey Evans?
Yes,
bro, she's mocking her own gimmick, which I think is hysterical. Bro, with that laugh, she's purposely mocking her own. You sit on the porch and have a glass of sweet tea. She's purposely mocking her own stupid, ridiculous gimmick, which was not her idea. She is not that person, and the fake laugh is the nail in the coffin. I think it's hysterical that she's mocking her own gimmick, bro.
Yes, indeed. I think it's that time, and she ended up beating Charlotte Flair. Somehow Charlotte kind of cuts a heel promo, but then she says, "It's my dad. He's competitive. He knows I'm competitive." Just a whole bunch of random promos. Is she a face? She a heel? But no, they're family. That just confuses me, because she said like "love you, dad" or something like that with the tweet earlier this week, is saying, I mean, just so much inconsistency.
Bro, we go right to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you throwing fire in a guy's face. Like, bro, like, listen, I'm the first guy, shades of gray, but you still got to give me a reason to cheer or boo for somebody. Like, I don't. Why am I cheering for Charlotte? Why am I booing her? Why do I care?
Yeah, and it makes it more confusing, because you're just kind of telling me, okay, this week she should be cheered, this week she should be booed. I mean, like, and again, she's cutting heel promos. So even with that, she's kind of, dressing down the interviewer, you know what I mean? And it's just like, again, doesn't make sense at all. But the thing is, she cuts the heel promo, but Flair, and then she emasculates Flair last week, but Flair gets retribution by helping Lacey, but Lacey's the heel though. And so it just doesn't make sense of this dynamic.
And bro, and not only that, after Flair screws his own daughter, the announcers went right past it. Like,
yeah. They know soda. They know soda, Vince.
Past it, bro. Like, oh, okay, all right. Well, if it's not important to you, it sure as hell isn't important to me.
Yeah, just a complete no sell.
Yep.
Yeah, and I, it's just like, you're supposed to build the intrigue of Ric Flair, kind of still kind of being a figure again, and kind of making Lacey look important, but you sell the the heel moment by Flair.
Bro, I swear, unless, bro, seriously, are they going to book Charlotte against Rick? Otherwise, like, I don't. What's going on here? I don't.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, I think maybe they're doing it to make Lacey a thing again.
The fake laugh has made her a thing. She don't need a Rick.
Yeah, she has her own gimmick now. It stands out. We get Jackson Riker defeating Jeff Hardy, ladies and gentlemen. Another loss by Jeff Hardy, but the streak ends when he beats Elias. But that makes Elias look more like an idiot, because his sidekick is good enough to beat Jeff Hardy, but he's not good enough to beat Jeff Hardy. So now he should be Jackson Riker's sidekick.
But, bro, that's the thing, too. It's like, bro, you're going to twice on one show, we're going to have a match and turn it into a second match.
It was three. I think that was three times.
Was there three? What was the other?
It was a Jeff Hardy thing. It was the
Miz and Morrison and Sheamus and Keith Lee.
And Riddle and MVP.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it was three times.
But you know what, Chris? Again, I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. We don't know if anybody else has COVID.
Okay.
But outside of that, guys, like, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. Even if WWE does all this, some, people, for a while they had like the one person from SmackDown can go, fight somebody for one time a month or something like that. Just these random things. The wild card rule. And so, come on now. You could have done a wild card rule for here. If you have people out with COVID, there's enough people in Florida right now just hanging out, and they could have booked them into a match.
That's true. You're right, Chris.
Yeah.
You're right.
Same thing with NXT. You could have had, you could have made it work. You could have made it work instead of just dragging 3 segments into 2 3 different times.
Yeah.
And you literally have you have Riddle saying, loses, gets just pummeled by Lashley. Oh, but I could beat MVP though.
Exactly.
Hardy losing to Jackson Riker. Oh, but I could beat Elias. I mean, just
for a third time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this wasn't even a gimmick match. This was just a regular match. I'm just gonna straight up beat him. And so it made Elias just, again, man, it has to go back to your theory that Elias is clearly in the doghouse. Yep. I mean, like, for him to have a sidekick in Jackson Riker and then turn that into continuing to lose, even somehow they had their sidekick Jackson Riker beat Jeff Hardy. To me, that was just ridiculous. I don't understand. Why don't you just make, if you have so much faith in your competitors, why don't you just make the matches longer instead of just having all these just kind of random off the cuff, I'll bring in MVP with the suit on. You know what I mean? It just makes your show look.
And bro, it's not only that, but like, I would like to think, Chris, people may think this is nitpicking, but it really isn't. I would like to think that there is a show booked.
Yes,
so
right.
If these guys are booking their own matches, how does the talent feel about their matches getting canceled?
Correct.
That's the thing, bro. They always say, oh, bro, the authority figure is run into the ground, this, that, and the other thing. Well, bro, the authority figure was run into the ground because you saw Triple H and Stephanie for 7 straight years.
Right.
What's better, that or we can randomly make our own matches on the spot? Right. And then what if they didn't make those matches? Were there other matches lined up? Would that have just been dead time?
Yeah.
Bro, it's gotten to the point of being ridiculous. We saw on SmackDown this week. Heyman pulled a couple of strings to get what's his name?
Adam Pearce.
I guarantee you there's not going to be any explanation this week.
Yeah.
Guarantee that's going nowhere. But it's
I hope it does, because it seems as if, and I thought that was a really off the wall call, but at the same time, it seems as if WWE watched our show because when it comes to making decisions that kind of causes some intrigue for the following week. Now, if that works, if that does, continue this thing, it would bring intrigue. But right. WWE is notorious for just stopping stuff. And so,
right. No, absolutely. If they go someplace with it, fine. If all of a sudden we forget about it and we're on to the next thing, it's, you know.
Yeah, it's typical WWE booking at that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Next week it's Keith Lee and Sheamus against Miz and Morrison. Somehow they're like dapping each other and giving each other all types of high fives, and after just they can't stand each other all the other weeks. And so they legit beat Miz and Morrison, which, again, even if Miz were to cash in the championship next week, it would bring the title so low. I mean, his stock, for him to be the Money in the Bank holder, it would just be absolutely terrible for him to win the title. And then after that, you have And then after that, somehow Keith Lee and Sheamus during the break, I don't know if they said anything to each other, and that leads into a match, and Keith Lee wins.
And a hug.
Yeah. And after that, yeah, brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug.
This whole show is like very weird, bro.
It was so weird to me.
The Lucha House Party in the back with Riddle and
yeah. It was all kinds of confusion to me. Again, if people have COVID, I get it, but at the same time, you have enough people on the roster to make those adjustments to at least give us a noteworthy show. You know what I mean? And you have people. You could have done an NXT invasion. You could, you could have again brought some SmackDown people over. There's people in Florida, that can get in the ring. You could have called Tatanka. You know what I mean? And brought him back and had him do something. You could have done something else than just drag out, all these segments. And it really seemed like, again, I think you bring a good point with people potentially having COVID. But when I was looking at it and looking at the national championship game, I was like, man, this clear that they're phoning this in.
Well, bro, the thing is too, just again, the time we could have put in the Triple H story.
Yes.
I'm sure Vince McMahon is at Raw. That could have been a scene. Bro, Sean works at NXT.
Yeah.
That could have been a scene. I mean, there could have been much better scenes and more drama and more build to this story. Bro, you could have had, even Alexa Bliss showing up. I mean, there's so many things you could have done rather than just take one match, make it into 2 matches times 3. That's 6 matches. And I mean, again, bro, it's like, bro, I didn't know how to phone things in. I'm not going to phone something in with my name on it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. And like you said, bro, I mean, Vince is there. Sean's there. There's so many things they could have done. Shane would have flew in if they wanted him to fly in.
Yeah.
We had, one match turned into 2 on 3 occasions.
Yeah. I agree. All right. Next we get Keith, we'll get Drew McIntyre cutting a promo on Goldberg, hyping up the match on for Royal Rumble. Later on the show, we had a Goldberg big promo, and so
I'll give you a little inside info there, Dr. Chris.
Yeah.
Last week's segment, bro, I swear to God, I think a change was made at the last minute because when Goldberg cut the promo about Drew disrespecting the legends, which made no sense because Orton was disrespecting the legends. But then I'm reading and I'm hearing Vince really wanted Goldberg and Drew because he thinks this is going to put Drew over the top.
Yep.
But bro, where they effed up last week was Drew was supposed to cut a return promo on Goldberg and wind up headbutting Goldberg to end the show. But because, bro, they messed up the time, something went really long, they ended that show with Drew getting knocked on his backside. So that's what this promo was. Drew had to take what was supposed to happen last week, explain what he was supposed to say, and kind of reset everything.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because that really made Drew look like an idiot.
Oh my God, bro! Absolutely.
It went off the show with him with the WWE Championship being pushed down by Goldberg, someone who's 20 years older than he is.
Yep,
50, the ripe young age of 54, I think he is now. Yeah, still competing in the ring, and someone 20 years younger than older than Drew McIntyre is, and so yeah, I mean. That made Drew look bad, and so by him having COVID and cutting a phone promo, that really didn't help his character at all.
Yep.
But if this is making him again, man, I'm a Goldberg guy. But just the concept of using someone like Bill Goldberg. Here's the thing: you can learn. You can get to the point where a legend becomes a shell of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, and again, this is someone who was a Goldberg mark. And it hurts me to say this, but WWE is starting to book Goldberg to look like a shell of himself.
Yep.
And I see this, and again, this is coming for someone who loves Bill Goldberg. I see this, and as a fan, I get zero intrigue with this feud because it started off. I mean, again, give me some buy-in. The feud starts off by Goldberg saying, "Oh yeah, I know that you were really you really didn't really mean disrespect respect the legends. You really didn't mean that." Okay, so somehow that's supposed to buy me in that Drew McIntyre is saying that he respects the he's a baby face, Vince. So he's gonna say things like, "I respect the legends." Yep. He's a baby face, so he's gonna say that. He's not like conniving or something like that. And even if he was, what is it leading to? Is he going to turn on the legends? Is he going to go against Mark Henry or something like that? So even if he was saying that just to, butter up, that wasn't going to lead anything.
Yep.
So Goldberg comes in saying, "Okay, so you really don't mean what you said. Now I'm going to stand up and defend the legends."
Yeah.
I don't have any buy-in with that. There's nothing.
Nope.
I don't get it, man. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. T-Bone, T-Bar.
T-Bone. No Ricochet, no Kofi.
Oh man, yeah, T-Bar, and that was just a clean, straight up win. It was just hey, I'll just win.
I've got to assume Ricochet's got COVID. I've got to assume that.
It's man, it has to be something.
Yeah,
it has to be something. And the thing is, who was it? Why Xavier Woods? Like, there's really no one else in the back to get to the point. Oh no, Ohio State just 4th and goal. We're like on the 5-yard line, and we're pretty much done. But I'm watching the game simultaneously as I'm recapping Raw.
Well, here's another thing. I mean, nothing against Xavier Woods. Well, yeah, maybe there is something against Xavier Woods. Mm-hmm. Bro, he's going in there against Retribution. How many people is Retribution?
Like 5, I think.
Okay, five people, whatever. Yeah. 5, 6, however many. Mm-hmm. So he's going in there against the match against these guys, and he's hanging upside down on the ropes playing his
like what the world was that?
Really? Okay, well, I guess I'm not afraid of them. I guess they're no threat. There's 5 of them and just me.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's so elementary. That's really wrestling 101, bro. Yeah. Wrestling 101, man.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And again, what does this lead to? Well, I mean, what is only thing this does, if Ricochet has COVID and he's good enough to come, if he's good to come in a couple of weeks, they'll beat some other person randomly next week, and then they'll go back to going against Ricochet again. I mean, that's really what it seems like was going to happen.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley defeating Riddle. I mean, just annihilating Riddle. It's just, you're building him up, building up Riddle to be the you're building him up to be the champion. I mean, or at least to be the contender, just for this to happen. You don't even take this to the Royal Rumble. You just
they heard our scenario last week about the Rocky 3 press conference.
That's true.
They heard that last week. Oh shit, that's but yeah, those guys are right, bro. We got
yeah, that's right. That's true.
Yeah, you fixed it.
yes. You know what? That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think he needs to look like Ivan Drago from now on. Yeah. I think that's a really good idea. But for some reason, Riddle's like, okay, well, I couldn't beat Bobby Lashley, bro, but I can beat MVP. I just Vince, help me out with this, okay? You were very successful head writer, WWE. Okay, I know it was over 20 years ago. It's a whole different mindset now. Clearly, it is. But why in the world would people meet up, come up with this, and say, okay, so we'll have segment so-and-so, segment 8 or whatever. We'll have Riddle lose to Lashley in 4 minutes. And after that, why do you have Riddle continue another segment with MVP who was actually in a legit suit? Like, why? What's the rhyme or reason behind doing something like that?
Well,
and expecting it to work, like with the mindset of, oh yeah, this will cause some intrigue.
Yeah, bro. Again, we're in the wrestling bubble because, and this is why people laugh at wrestling, bro. Put the situation in the UFC. Okay, UFC, bro. Guy loses to his opponent. Oh, I can't beat that guy, but I could beat that guy was ranked 2nd. I could beat the guy ranked 7th.
Right.
Out. That's the wrestling bubble. They don't look at how ridiculous these things are. Yeah. And then when you and I are talking about this, we're the bad guys. We're burying them because we don't work there.
Yeah.
We're burying them because it's freaking stupid. They would do that in a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like in a cartoon, a guy would get his butt kicked. Come on, I'm not done. But come on. Remember Monty Python and the Holy Grail chopped off the guy's one arm? It's just a flesh wound. Come on. That, bro, is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Just imagine 1989 or 1989. Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Andre the Giant, right?
Right.
Hacksaw just gets obliterated by Andre, right?
Right.
Hacksaw's like, oh man, okay, I can't be Andre, but Bobby Heenan, come on, bring him on in the match. Come on.
I thought you were going to the Brooklyn Brawler. I thought we were going to bring the Brooklyn Brawler out to, bro, it's just ridiculous. It's just and nobody's there to make the matches, but somehow there's a ref there, like you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Can you imagine good old Mills Lane, bro? He's in a boxing match. A guy gets knocked out. Yeah, you may have knocked me out, but the number 10 bring him out here. Okay, Mills, ring the bell.
Right.
Just think about it. Like, it's ridiculous. But
not only can you make your own matches now, you have full access at will to tell the referee to ring the bell or not.
Right, exactly.
And so I'm thinking in my head, like, if I have that much matchmaking power, why don't everybody like try to get a match against Drew McIntyre? Like, I don't understand I don't care who I am. I don't care if I was like one of the Lucha house party. I said, oh, we can make matches. Oh, okay. Well, Lee and Drew.
They've made a mockery of the business. I was watching an AEW this past week. They opened the match. It was an 8-man. I don't know if you saw it or not. Yeah. But Chris, I'm watching this match and I'm like, why do you guys even have a referee in the ring?
Yeah.
Like, bro, put the referee on the outside. Do whatever the heck you want in the match. Get all your spots in. Have him just slide in to count the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous, bro, that half the time that a ref is even in there, it's ridiculous.
And I give it to Chris Jericho because he actually called out, like, early in AEW. He actually called out a lot of the tag divisions because they didn't really stay true to, holding the rope and actually getting tagged. It would just be a bunch of people in there at the same time, just doing whatever they want to. Yep. And he actually chewed the locker room out for that. And I got to give it up to Jim Ross too, because in interviews he's talked about how he can't stand that concept.
It's still happening. I mean, as of last week, they're doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're still doing the same exact thing. So that didn't mean anything that he did it. And they should probably, I mean, if I was Tony Khan, I would probably listen to someone like a Jim Ross, ladies and gentlemen, especially Chris Jericho.
I've worked with some indie companies, bro, just doing a little booking here and there. I don't let that happen on the indie level. I tell the referee, if you think you're being made to look stupid in a match, you need to come tell me
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell you down the river. I'm going to go to the town. I'm going to ask the town, okay, what are you guys doing? Mm-hmm. And they're going to lay out the spot that makes the ref look stupid. I'm going to say, no, you're not doing that. You're going to come up with something else.
Yeah.
On this level, nobody cares, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shows too, because I think that is one of many things that is lessening the interest of the product.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you have, 8 people outside and half of it is actually your tag team partners, you know what I mean? And they're like just waiting for it, to jump on.
So, bro, the more real the world becomes.
Yeah.
When you're watching TV all day long, bro, and you're seeing them carting body after body out with COVID, bro, you're seeing them attack the Capitol building.
Yeah.
And then you put this stuff on at the end of the night. Yeah. It's freaking Tom and Jerry. Yeah. It really is Tom and Jerry, bro.
Yeah. And like you said before, if they start off the beginning of the show saying that this is satire,
yeah, we're good.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah, we're definitely okay. I understand now. We're fine.
Right. If this is supposed to be Monty Python, we're in. I think we're good to go now. So next we have again, catch me on these backstage segments. I want you to be the backstage police if I'm missing something, because I've gotten to the point where the backstage segments is usually involved with Riddle or something else crazy, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, whatever, I'll just skip them. So we have AJ Styles. Also, there was a backstage segment with AJ and Drew, right? So Drew wanted to be a part of the Royal Rumble, and he says, so he says number 30 spot, and then Adam Pearce says, okay, if you beat AJ Styles, then you get to be in the Royal Rumble. When I saw that and I saw the match, I said, okay, so do we really think that Drew Gulak is going to beat AJ Styles to be in the Royal Rumble?
And get the number 30 spot.
And get the 30 spot.
You never know with the WWE, bro. Like, it's a possibility, man. You just never know, man.
Yeah. What a terrible, and again, a wasted segment. I mean, it just really seemed like you're totally just wasting time at this point. I mean, you knew that AJ Styles was going to be Drew Gulak, and AJ Styles beat Drew Gulak. So that whole segment and this whole match was for naught.
Yeah, well, it's for the marks. We're gonna give him AJ and Gulak, bro, and Meltzer's gonna sit there. Is it 5 stars? Is it 6? Is it 5.5? What is it? Meanwhile, the rest of us are long gone by.
Oh yeah. We're zoned out. I personally was I was watching the national championship game.
Bro, how many points are they down by now? Is it?
Oh, bro,
it's ugly.
28. We're down 4 touchdowns.
Oh,
3.5 minutes left in the game. So that ain't yeah, we can make the triumphant comeback. But at least we made it to the championship game, man.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting us to go this far, and it's all good, man.
Yeah.
AJ beats Drew, and next we have Nia Jackson's. I was watching the national championship game, and we were getting stomped. The first quarter was pretty tight. But I was like, okay, man, it's a downhill spiral. Our secondary looks terrible. But I was, even with a very poorly looking Ohio State secondary, I was watching that more than this Gulak and AJ stuff. And then after that, we get the sexy muscle friends, whatever Oscar calls them, Mandy and Dana Brooke, announced that they're going to be in the Royal Rumble. And then,
well, bro, hold on, wait a minute, time out. You told me to get to backstage.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, hold on, bro. Because let's take into consideration, we had an entire package of Eric Bischoff putting over a Goldberg.
Yes, I did see that.
Bro, okay, bro, that was over 20 years ago. That's not now. That was Goldberg 20 years ago. And I'm like, bro, am I in a time warp here? Yeah. Putting over a guy from 20 years ago, bro.
Yeah. It was actually over 20 now. It's about
would have been
22, 23.
That would have been the equivalent of Tyson just had his fight against Roy Jones, and you would have been playing a Tyson package like he was 23 years old.
Yeah.
Prior to him. Oh, okay. Yeah. But that was to eat time, bro. I mean, that was just to eat time.
And it was, and somehow in Vince's head, this is what's going to cause Drew McIntyre to go to the next level.
Yep.
And you know, that's what it is. And again, I love, I like, I'm a Goldberg guy. But I say again, this absolutely was terrible as far as just making Goldberg look like a shell of himself, and he's going to lose against Drew McIntyre. It's a one and done. As far as what I've heard, it's going to be a one and done. Yep. And so even if Drew McIntyre beats Goldberg, and I'm going to say this, if Goldberg beats Drew McIntyre, it would get more buzz than if Drew McIntyre beats Goldberg. So even for the sake of buzz, as much as I don't want this to happen, I want Drew to be over. But for the sake of buzz, though, it would cause more excitement. It would cause more intrigue if Goldberg won. And I'm thinking in my head, like, as much as Drew needs to be over, this match does nothing for Drew. It does nothing. If Drew beats him in 5 minutes, if he beats him in 30 seconds, it doesn't matter. It does not, to me, it doesn't move the needle more for Drew at all.
You know, Chris, I did I do a show, and I'm not doing this as a plug. I'm doing this because I think it's important information. I do a news show, Nitty Gritty Dirt Show on my Patreon with Billy Body. And Billy's smart because he actually talks to people inside of Titan Tower that are making the posters that know Vince is saying this is the guy in 3 months, because that's how they set things up. It's not a wrestler or somebody looking to put crap out there. It's legitimate marketing people and advertising people, you know. But, bro, like Billy did a whole report that we just found out about the Royal Rumble in front of no people. Yep. Now we're getting closer to WrestleMania. Yeah. And Billy did an entire report, bro, that Vince basically, if there can't be a capacity crowd at WrestleMania, then he wants to do WrestleMania in the Thunderdome with a card that he's just going to phone in. Bro, according to Billy, do you know who if no crowds are allowed, do you know who they're talking about Roman defending against?
Who?
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, these guys actually think the bullets in the gun are Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins. Like, really, bro? Come on, man.
I agree, man. And again, it's one of those things that that is very what I see in this is anything. I thought about just doing some wrestling stuff and just doing some videos and doing some psychological kind of analysis on it. It's like psychoanalysis on it. And when I think about this stuff, I think about just grade A narcissism, because what is happening right now with that, if that report is true, if it's fulfilled, what I see is Vince McMahon saying COVID was the reason why we did this, and COVID becomes the scapegoat. And because of COVID, we're phoning in WrestleMania.
Chris, I hate to break the news to this company, and write this date down someplace on your notepad. I hate to break the news. They actually believe, bro, when crowds and fans are a lot back in, they actually believe they're going to be at full capacity. Bro, they're lucky if they're at half capacity. Bro, they were at less than half capacity before COVID.
Yeah.
So, like, they honestly have convinced themselves, bro, they're going to, who are people going to pay money to see? Who exactly are they paying money to see that you're going to be at full capacity?
That's a good question.
This is over.
That's a good question. I mean, when you have UFC, you have, Ronda Rousey, and you have people who are marketable. You know what I mean? Oh gosh, what's the Celtic guy? He was double champ before. Oh gosh,
I'm the 60-year-old man. That's why McGregor.
Yes, Conor McGregor. Yes, so Conor McGregor, and then the women's champ, who was really, really good. I don't know what her name is. I forgot her name. Amanda Nunes. Yeah. So those are the marquee people. So if Nunes is on the card, you're going to watch it. If Conor McGregor's on the card, you're going to watch it. If especially when Ronda Rousey was on the card, definitely you're going to watch it. And so when you have people on the card, that I don't care who it is. I don't even care about the undercard matches. Ronda Rousey's on the card, so I'm going to order the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Conor McGregor's on the card, I'm going to watch the pay-per-view. I don't care what the undercard is.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have that type of star power anymore. I mean that's sports entertainment. And that's sports 101. I mean, like you don't care about.
They think that's Becky. They think that's Becky Lynch.
Wow.
They do. They believe. They think that's Edge. That's Edge. That's Becky Lynch. I mean, seriously, bro. That's
wow. And here's the crazy part of it. Like none of them. And and Becky did her thing, but at the same time, it's like you still aren't causing them to have you're not making their characters exciting enough. Like, say for instance, say if Conor McGregor's record was like 15-11, he wouldn't be a marquee name. He would, like, people wouldn't want to watch the card for him to lose. Like Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, he was undefeated. So, and he was arrogant.
Yep.
He wasn't 50-50. He didn't bring people to the boxing match because his record was 15-14.
Yep.
He was undefeated. He was continuing to somehow beat the competition, and you paid to see, okay, is this person finally going to beat Mayweather?
Bro, that's what you did with Bruno Sammartino. That's what you did with Hulk Hogan. You did that for 25 years, every single month, bro. Yep. Like I said, bro, they got, for whatever reason, they got away from a formula that worked. Bro, you got to evolve. Everything's got to evolve, but there are certain things about the foundation that will always work.
100%.
You can't build a house without certain things. And they just demolish this foundation, and they're lost.
I think it's a USA deal. I think it's because of the USA deal. I think it's because they have so much leverage with USA. I think the pressure for them to make quality television, it just isn't there. I mean, because it's like there's no pressure. It's like it's not make ratings or else. It's, well,
you're going to
need us more than we need you.
Yeah, it's like you're going to get paid the same whether you have 1 million people or 10 million people. You're going to get paid the same amount of money. So what are you going to do? You're going to go out there and you're going to walk through it.
100%. That'll be the same thing as me. Like, I'm a doctor. I see patients every day. I do psychotherapy. That'll be the same thing as saying, okay, well, you'll get paid to do nothing. You'll get paid the same to see 2 patients rather than 6 or 7. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
absolutely, man.
hey, so you're telling me I get 5 hours in and just sitting around and just kind of phoning it in and doing nothing but just eating some wings and drinking some coffee. Yep. I'm in. Count me in. As much as I absolutely love my job and thank God for it, but it's like you're coming to tell me that I mean, it's what I do is I absolutely love it, but it's exhausting. I'm literally talking to 5 to 7 pages a day about their lives, about some really serious stuff, some really serious deep stuff, and I'm being used to shift people's paradigms and gives therapy for some real deep rooted issues. And so, but if you're telling me that I can, do away with, 4 or 5 clients a day and still get paid the same. I mean,
absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, that's the contract, man. That's on USA Network. That ain't on the WWE.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think that might be what it is. And I think someone like a John Cena's era, that's when really, because even ruthless aggression that caused some intrigue. You had like the all-star cast of like the Batista, Cena, Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin was in that, Randy Orton. But during the Cena era, he was just so super Cena that's when I saw, because I was looking at the kind of the history of the ratings. And it dropped substantially after the Monday Night Wars around 01, 02. It went from like around your time, it was around 7s. Like it camped around the 7s a lot, high 6s, low 7s. And so it went down to around 3s during Ruthless Aggression, upper 3s. And now they're struggling to make to pass 2, and it's like, and it just seems like it became more niche when stars weren't being built. It was just like, okay, we're going to play to the homers so much.
Yep.
And we're going to have Cena go through this person and this person and this person. And it became very Homer like we're not going to, with that larger than life feel that Lesnar did during the Ruthless Aggression, that Austin versus McMahon, that left. It just left, and everything became wrestling, just building this characters 50-50. We're not going to make someone transcend the business. And they're hurting for that. We get Randy Orton versus Triple H to end the show. And it was, again, man, like
before we get to the match,
another segment. Did I miss another segment? No. Okay,
bro. Paul Hunter, I'm going to look in the camera and talk to Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, Hunter, Triple H, baby. Bro, we got a 52-year-old man with Motorhead,
yes,
the leather jacket, still spitting the water out. Bro, stop, bro. The days of you and Lemmy and Motorhead and the leather jacket, bro, those were many decades ago, bro. You are a 52-year-old, a corporate executive with kids running around at home. Stop, bro. These guys have to stop. They got to stop. They're not the same people they were. This guy's 52 years old. You got to stop. That's what I mean, bro. That's the cartoon. Yeah. That's the cartoon that I'm talking about. Bro, before the COVID, Impact, I think I told you about this, but they wanted me to go to that TNA gimmick.
Yeah.
Bro, what? I'm dyeing the hair. I'm dyeing everything black. I'm wearing a leather jacket. I'm bringing a baseball bat at almost 60 years old. You guys got to freaking stop. It's stupid. It's silly. It's freaking ridiculous. Hunter, you're a 52-year-old man. There's nothing wrong with that. Why? Think about this for a second, Chris. Why am I putting on a leather jacket to go wrestle a match? Well, what am I putting on? Why am I putting a leather jacket on to go wrestle?
It's cold in Tropicana Field, Vince.
Like, come on, you guys, stop. Just stop.
Yeah, and a Motorhead shirt with some jeans like that. That's his fighting material, you know.
But yeah, bro, bro. By the time you got done with the entrances and everything, it was 8:55. So you knew exactly how. You didn't know how they were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There was going to be some kind of Fiend involvement. These guys were not going to have a match. There's no time left on the clock. Yeah. I think the special effects were cool. You know, the gimmick.
I like the sledgehammer. I like the flaming sledgehammer. That was
they
cool.
Pre-taped all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Alexa, bro. The only thing like I don't like about this whole thing that's really bothering me, bro. If the Fiend is set on fire. How long ago has that been now?
About 3 weeks, 4 weeks now.
Okay, bro, 3-4 weeks. If the guy was physically set on fire, bro, it's not going to be 4 weeks of psychological games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, to that degree of being burnt alive, we're not now going to sit home and send Alexa Bliss out there with a fireball.
Again and again.
That's not true to the character. The character should be looking to take Randy Orton's head off with a freaking axe. That's what he should be doing.
Yes, indeed. That was that was TLC on the 21st, I think it was.
21st.
Yeah, so it was 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So that was that. So yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, somehow we're supposed to buy into Alexa Bliss being, you know, doing the gimmick leading up to the Fiend coming back, and then the Fiend comes back and beats. Does he beat Orton at that time?
I think if he's been gone all this time and his big return is at the Royal Rumble, right? That's what we're looking at. He better beat Orton.
Yeah, it was the 13th. Oh no, wait, the 20th. Yeah, okay, so it was. Yeah, so he better beat Orton.
I mean, they've got one more show, right? And I'll tell you exactly one more show before the Rumble, right? So next week we will see the Fiend at the very end of the show.
Okay.
You'll see the Fiend at the very, very end. They better put him over.
I don't even think that this leads to a match at the Rumble because Randy he chipped in to be a part of the Rumble. Some years they have match and then be in the Rumble, but some years they say he's just going to be in the Rumble. So he might, you know what? It might be like a Randy Orton in at the last person in type of thing. Like it's just Randy Orton and somebody else. And I can see like him being in the final two and somehow they allowing the Fiend to like distract Orton and allow him to go out, especially if you have to think about it. There's no fans. So they're going to have to pull on some type of bells and whistles somehow because the Royal Rumble is if there's any show of the entire year that needs fans, it's the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble is all about the fans counting down. Yeah. It's all about the surprise entrant. That's what makes the Royal Rumble exciting. But if you have no fans, it's just going to be 30 people going into the ring with nothing, no reaction to that.
They'll pipe all that in.
Oh, they'll pipe it all in, but you know it's not real. You know, what I mean? Like last year when Drew eliminated Brock Lesnar, just imagine doing that with no fans. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the momentum that Drew had, the pop that Drew had when he did that, it was just deafening. It was, and they were in the field too. It was a really nice field to 40,000 people, but now it's just like you're going to have a bunch of people on the walls, the big Thunderdome, you know, the wall of digital fans and piping in sounds. I don't know, you know, as much as I love.
Is there anything else booked besides the Royal Rumble? Like what else is booked? Is there anything else?
Drew and Goldberg,
right?
Roman and Pierce.
Well, that's not happening. They're going to get out of that Friday night, I hope, right?
I think they'll probably do it at the Royal Rumble and have a gimmick gimmicked finish. I think they'll probably take it to the Rumble. You know what? Here's the funny part, Vince. I hope they do. I hope they take it to the Rumble, because to me, as bizarre as that is, I'm like, at least I'm intrigued because I know that Adam Pearce isn't going to win, but there's got to be something that kind of happens there. But if they do just a regular, oh, Daniel Bryan is going to take his place, or Shinsuke Nakamura is going to take his place, we know that they're not going to beat Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? Like, and plus Roman Reigns is like, it's the whole Kevin Owens thing. Not only do we know that Roman Reigns is going to beat him, that's it. Like, it's just gonna, I'm gonna beat you and that's it. But at least with Adam Pearce going in the match, I'm like, this. I mean, it's going to be a squash, but is it going to be something else? Is somebody going to come back? Is someone going to help? I mean, they're not going to have Adam Pearce win it, are they? At least I'm having those thoughts in my head.
Well, see, part of my problem is, bro, I never saw Adam Pearce's backstory. Yeah. I don't know what this guy did on NXT. I don't care what he did on NXT.
He wasn't even on NXT.
Well, whatever. Yeah. So where do
ROH was and he was NWA champ for a while. He was really
so how do we know him on the WWE other than that spot that he's in? That's what he's done the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah, he came in as an official. He got hired in as an official, as an agent, because of his time in NWA, and he was a head writer head booker for ROH for a while.
I know nothing about.
Yeah, and that, you know what, and that's the thing. Right. That's the reason why they should not play to the house so much.
Yeah,
because if you didn't follow, they can't assume as much out of touch as Vince is with pop culture. He also can't assume that everybody watches ROH or everybody watched NWA or everybody follow these people. I follow them because I love wrestling, but there's people who still love wrestling who just don't watch ROH or don't watch, NWA, and NWA, at least about 15 years ago, he was real big. 15 years ago, he was real big in NWA. And when Kevin Owens said, "You used to be my boss," that he was referring to when Kevin Owens was big in ROH.
How am I supposed to know that?
You're not, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? They can't assume that. They can't book based on that assumption. You know what I mean? Like I said with the whole NXT thing, you got a third of the audience watching NXT. You can't assume that 2.5 million people knows who Keith Lee is. You can't assume that they know who Keith Lee is. You have 300,000 or 700,000. They know who Keith Lee is, but that's only a third of what we see on Raw. You know what I mean? So you can imagine that the 2/3 who don't watch NXT are just going to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I remember he was in ROH for a hiccup. I saw when he was on Beyond Wrestling. Oh yeah, I remember those matches with Donovan Dijak and on the Indies." No, you can't. You can assume that stuff. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you'll have William Shatner like you.
No, and that the Adam Pearce, one day he was on the show making matches, and I'm like, okay, like, who is this guy? Why is he making matches? Who did he ever beat? I didn't have a clue. But my point is, that's why I'm looking at this a little differently than you with the Roman thing, because the way this guy was introduced to me, I've never cared about him.
Yeah.
Like, I not one iota. I don't care about this guy. I don't know why he's there. I don't know who put him in that position. That's why I'm hoping, bro, the way they ended it, there is some storyline. Paul Heyman pulled strings. Well, whose strings did he pull?
Yeah.
Who's gonna now turn this over?
Yeah.
I mean, they better tell me something. Otherwise,
at least it's causing you to even ask those questions. Because to me, if it was just a straight up Roman Daniel Bryan, now I totally understand, and you make a good point. Like you can't assume that people know who this guy is, and I totally agree with you there. I'm thinking in my head, man, at least I'm just looking for something, Vince. Like I'm just, at this point, I'm just looking for something, And so give me something different. And finally we're getting something different. You know, like we're getting Adam Pearce out of anybody to be a number one contender. And it's like, okay, well, I think it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But
see, bro, here's the reason why I have no hope. Because if this were a plan, they would have made us care about Adam Pearce before this happened.
Yeah.
If they planned, if this wasn't a last minute thing, they would have built Adam Pearce up in such a way where we cared about him. Yeah. But the fact that last week's show came out of nowhere, and he was just put in a match, Heyman put him in a match. The fact that they did it that way, that's why I don't have a lot of faith of it going anywhere, because to me, the way they did it, it was like a last minute thing.
Yeah, at least give him character.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally just walks out there every week on Raw and SmackDown and books matches. I mean, like he has no character.
Yeah.
And Adam Pearce, I mean, in any days, he was extremely charismatic and really good in the ring. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, is that a Vince call to like just, you know, kind of put the kibosh on him having any type of character? Because this isn't who Adam Pearce is from his time as a wrestler.
Well, when you think about like all the stuff we did with Patterson and Briscoe, bro, you got to understand, before we did any of that, we always saw them with Vince. Mm-hmm. And then it was the little things that Jerry, you know, can I get you coffee, Mr. McMahon? It was the little things.
Yeah.
And then the little things, the consistency, now it turns into something that means something. That didn't happen like that.
Right.
That's why I'm saying this all happened in that one show, like a Heyman or a Reigns or a somebody came up with that idea that day, because, bro, if this was planned in any way, shape, or form, you would have made us care a little bit about this guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we shall see what happens. And once again, you know, hey, Randy Orton's blinded, I guess, because he's had fire in his eyes, but I guarantee you that this will not be like, you know, give me some old matches where people, some old gimmicks where people was in. Who was it? Was it Chris Adams that was blinded for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it him versus was it Gino Hernandez back in World Class?
That sounds right, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think it may have been Gino with him with the blindfold gimmick. Yeah, well the wrestling and the whatever he had on, the like tissue or whatever, patches or whatever he was. Yeah, so we need one of those again, man. We need the blindfold gimmick, and then, you know, at the end of it, he pulls the glasses up when he knows that he's turned around. He pulls the glasses up. He's not blind. We just saw that with Aleister Black. Well, he was, he had the patch or something.
What happened to him?
That was his Zelina Vega thing, man. You know, ever since she got tossed, you know, her husband.
She's been very quiet too. Have you heard anything about her?
I know she's twitching a lot now.
Is she?
Yeah, because actually she got booted because she wanted to keep her Twitch. You know, they're trying to confiscate all the Twitch.
You know what I'm saying? Since then though, she's been kind of very, very quiet. I haven't heard much.
Yeah, I don't think she's really making a big thing. I don't think she's even really caring about wrestling right now. She's making a lot of money on Twitch. Like a lot. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like a lot of. Is
she a gamer on Twitch?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, she has her own accounts. Well, I heard a lot. She's playing games, but she does like. I've watched a couple like the times where she got let go, and she was like, I think the one right after she got let go, she was like crying because she was thanking the fans for supporting her, because they would just pay her. She would just go live on her account and they would just like pay her, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, yeah, she makes a lot of money, and that's the thing. That's the reason why Vince wanted to get a cut of that stuff, because they made a lot of money. Paige was the same way. Yeah. You know, she makes a lot of money with her Twitch account too. Same with Miro. He has a big Twitch account too. So, All right, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Russo, you got some branding to take care of.
Yeah, real quick, guys. I got 2 platforms. We've got different shows on each platform with wrestlers that you know, dozens of them. Just go to russosbrand.com, and the other one is patreon.com/Russo TWC.
Yes, indeed. I just went on her Twitch, and you make a good point. It says, sorry, unless you've got a time machine, that content is unavailable.
Selena Vega?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Huh. Very interesting. So I just went on her. I just looked up her Twitch, and I remember it was A to Z on YouTube. A to Z on YouTube. And that was the Twitch that I saw before. And all done. Very, very interesting. I wonder what that's about. Yeah. Thea Trinidad, I believe, is her real name. Unless she changed her
would you with that big of a following?
No, she didn't change it. Her Twitch is off. Wow. Huh. I noticed she's been going through a lot, got let go, and wow. That's very interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Great show. We have great chemistry. Good stuff. Shout out to Ryan Bowman. We got a tweet before we go. I thought this tweet was pretty funny. I just had it was somebody. Oh, here it is. Tim Lenhart says, Appointment TV, love the insight from you both. Time to play some bingo, guys. That's right. We sound like I said before, we sound like 2 old guys in the bingo hall, and we love every minute of it, brother. He is Vince Russo. I'm Dr. Chris Featherstone, and you have just been a part of another episode of Legion of Raw. Take care, everybody.